Okay, so I'm going to try and help you a little bit on this part. You said you needed help on 3E, so with objects and prepositions. Okay, so let me try and see if I can explain. These are not, they're not difficult, but until you get them like branded in your brain, they are kind of difficult. And I have trouble with these oftentimes. Remember I told you though, once you get those prepositional phrases down, the object of the preposition will be easy to find. Okay, so two different objects that we've been learning about. Direct objects. Now, you know what an object is. I mean, it's a noun, it's a thing. Okay, it's an object, it's a thing. Okay, so a direct object is a thing that directly receives the action. Okay, meaning it has to come after an action verb. Okay, because an action verb would actually, it would do something. And so then you might have an object. Now, just because you have an action verb does not mean you will have a direct object. But if you have an action verb, then you might have a direct object. Okay, so like I said, a direct object is it's the object that directly receives the action. So let me give you an example, maybe, I don't know. And this might be some notes you might want to jot down. I don't know, it may not help you, but I hope it does. Okay, so so she ran home. No, let's see. She ran, I should have come up with something. It's kind of hard to do this on top of my head. She ran, let's see, maybe ran's not a good one. Oh no. Yum, I love popcorn. Okay, so we'll do this one. All right, so ate is your action verb. Okay, she is your subject. And don't forget those questions that you ask. Okay, so you know how to find this. You find the verb. Okay, and then you find the subject by asking, who or what, whatever the verb is. Okay, and then if it's an action verb, you say subject, verb, who or what. So in this one, then you would have ate is your verb, she is your subject. So since this is action, let's see if there's a direct object. Let's see if there is an object that directly receives this. Okay, the way you do that, she ate who or what? She ate popcorn. Popcorn answers the question what she ate. And popcorn actually received the action. So that means that popcorn is the direct object. It's the object that directly received the action. Okay? All right, so then the other, let's see, just erase this. So then the other object we've been talking about is the object of the preposition. Okay, now this basically is going to be the last word in a prep phrase, prepositional phrase. Okay, so, and that means it's always going to be it'll always be a noun or pronoun. Now, the only thing I have to say is about this is that we just have to keep practicing with prepositions. And I don't care if you keep a list of prepositions out, even when you're taking a review or whatever. It does not matter to me. I just want you to learn them. And you'll learn how to recognize them when you see them. Now, there's some prepositions that we don't use that often, like beyond. We don't see that very often. But there's a few that we don't use very often that are prepositions but you'll just know it. When you see a prepositional phrase, it's almost like your eyes will just, or your brain and your eyes will just like take that out of the sentence. Like you'll just see it. I don't know how to explain it. So let's take an easy sentence like, let's see. Callista came over to my house. Okay. So the verb is came. Okay. Who or what came? Callista. Callista is my subject. Okay. Now, to my house is a prepositional phrase because the word to is a preposition. House would be what I call the OP, the object of the preposition, because it's the object that goes with the preposition. To what? To my house. See, it's the object. That's why it's an object. Anything that receives something is going to be your object. So up here we have direct objects that receive the action. And with an OP, I'll just call them by short, DO and OP. So anytime I say OP, I'm talking about the object of the preposition. And it's always the last word in the prepositional phrase. So, and it's always going to be a noun or a pronoun because a prepositional phrase starts with a preposition and it ends with a noun or pronoun. Okay, so let's go back over here and see if we can kind of get some help. Okay, so it says in the following paragraph, identify the underlined words as DO if it's a direct object or OP if it's an object of preposition. For each direct object, find and underline twice the action verb that affects it. For each OP or object of the preposition, find and circle the preposition to which it belongs. Now there is one compound OP and one compound adjective. When you find them, write compound OP and compound adjective in the margin next to them, and then draw arrows from each compound form to the appropriate label. Okay, I have to admit that this section has been a little bit, it's been a little bit difficult for everybody to do, the ones that have finished it. Okay, so let's look here. So the coach lumbered on again with heavier wreaths of mist closing round it as it began the descent. Okay, so we're going to go with this one. Okay, so first of all, you should be able to look at this and just know that of mist is a prepositional phrase because of is a preposition. So the word that comes after it is the object of this. Of what? Of mist. So this is going to be an OP. It's an object of the preposition. I think that's what it said to do. Identify them. For each object of the preposition, find and circle the preposition. Okay, and so this belongs to this preposition. Okay. So this, let's see, the coat, I don't see any prepositional, oh yes I do. This is a preposition, I nearly skipped over it. With is a preposition. So that means this must be an OP. With heavier wreaths. Okay, this is a prepositional phrase, and this is a prepositional phrase. The guard soon replaced his blunderbuss. That is a weird word. The guard soon replaced his blunderbuss in his arm chest, and having looked to the rest of its contents, and having looked to the supplementary pistols that he wore in his belt. Oh my goodness, that's a long sentence. So let's just start up here. The guard soon replaced his blunderbuss. Okay, this word is not in a preposition. There's no prepositions this way. So that means let's look for an action verb. Replaced. Soon is an adverb that tells when he replaced. Okay, so guard is the subject, who or what replaced guard. Okay, so to find the direct object, you say subject, verb, who or what. So guard replaced who or what? Blunderbuss. All right, so then this would be a direct object because it directly affects. Now, what do we have to do with that? Oh yeah, we underline the verbs twice that it goes with. All right, so that means that blunderbuss directly received the action of replaced. What did he replace? He replaced the blunderbuss. So that's why that's the direct object. It directly receives the action. Okay? This is a preposition, making this an OP, object of the preposition. Okay? In his arm chest, prepositional phrase. Okay? Now, I don't know. This might be a compound, because remember up here it said there's going to be a compound one. I'm not sure if that's a... No, that's not it. No, because a compound OP is going to be two OPs. Okay. And having looked to the rest, easy peasy, that is a preposition making this an OP. That's a prepositional phrase, to the rest. Of its contents, guess what? That is a preposition. This then would be an OP. Okay, these are objects of the preposition. These are easy to find once you learn how to locate those prepositional phrases. And having looked to the supplementary pistols, can you figure out what that is? This is a preposition. This would be the OP. You might say to the supplementary, but no, because this is an adjective describing what kind of pistols. So that would be the OP, the object of the preposition. To the supplementary pistols is the prepositional phrase. Okay, that he wore in his belt. Do you know what that is? In is a preposition, making belt the OP. All right. Looked to a smaller chest. There we go again. To is a very common preposition, making this an OP. Notice all of these OPs, these objects of the preposition, are all nouns. Beneath his seat. Beneath is a preposition, making this another OP. In which there were a few smith's tools, a couple of torches, and a tinderbox. Of is a preposition, making this an OP. We've not yet found a compound anything, have we? I don't think. For he was furnished with that completeness that if the coach lamps had been blown and stormed out, which did occasionally happen, he had only to shut himself up inside, keep the flint and steel sparks well off the straw. All right, keep the flint and steel sparks. All right, let's find, I don't see a preposition here. Now this is, but nothing's underlined. We just have to do what's underlined. All right, so let's find a verb. Keep, this is a long sentence, so for, let's see, where did it go? Keep, okay, who or what keep would be he. This would be your subject. This is a very long sentence with all kinds of nouns and verbs in it. So, because, so he is your subject. He was furnished is a verb. Did happen is a verb. Had shut, I think, is a verb. Had shut. Just maybe just had, perhaps. Had, and then keep. So he, keep, who, or what. This would be a direct object. Now, flint and steel are adjectives that describe what kind of sparks. Keep is the action verb that, and then this is the word, the object that directly receives keep. Keep what? Keep sparks. Okay, notice when I did not see a prepositional phrase, I went straight to start looking for verbs. Okay, because that's just the section, what they're wanting you to do. Okay, well off the straw. This is a preposition. That would be an OP. And get a lot with tolerable safety and ease. preposition around here? Not here, but this is another verb right here. Okay. He, no, let's see. Yeah, because it's way up. That's a long sentence. He get who or what? Light. That's what he received. This is the object that directly received that. Okay? With tolerable safety and ease. Guess what that is? That's a preposition. That would be an OP. And then this is a conjunction that gives us an idea of what this is. Another OP. Because it conjoins the two, which means these two, this is what we call a compound OP. There's two of them. So when you find them, write compound OP and compound adjective in the margin, and then draw arrows from each compound form to the appropriate label. All right, so over here you would write compound, what is that? Compound OP. Okay. I don't know what it wants you to draw arrows to. I think just to what it is, I guess. I'm not sure. All right. If he were lucky in 5 minutes. What's minutes? What kind of object is it? It's an OP because that's a preposition. So that makes this an object of the preposition. Now, we've skipped over. Let's go back and see if we can find that compound adjective. Let's see. Compound adjective. Oh, flint and steel. Yeah, because we weren't underlining adjectives. So it just said find your compound adjectives. And so over here we would write compound. Because remember, compound means more than one. Compound. If you can hear the babies in the background, I apologize. They're playing with dinosaurs. Okay, so flint and steel, or steel and flint, I guess. So these are compound adjectives. And the reason I knew that was because we weren't underlining, or we weren't doing anything with adjectives. They underlined nouns that we had to see what kind of object they were. So we were just looking for compound adjectives. Okay, now I hope that clears things up a little bit. Don't fret about it too much because it really takes a while to get these. It just takes a lot of practice to get these. But once you do, it'll make you very aware of grammar itself, and even make you a great writer too. So now what I'd like for you to do, pardon me, I'm sorry, on your, pardon me, on your paper up here beside this, would you put like no grade on this part or something like that, so that when I go to grade it, I'll know not to check this part. And I'll change the points to be, rather than 100 points, I'll probably change it to, I don't know, 80 or 90 or whatever. So anyway, just put me a note up here that I helped you with this so I don't grade it. Okay? And let me know if you need anything else.